Hey, what's going on, guys? We're taking a look here at Tesla. This is actually my old video chart. I just wanted to show y'all where we were and now where we are. So I was targeting us to come up to here. So now I'm going to flip over to the current chart. Should be here. And so you can see that we're coming up on our target there around the 15, call it 1540 would be our original target. Now, something else that I've noticed that I want to talk about are the algorithms. So you know that we came down here to this 50, right? That's the red line here. And we went up through our target, right? So what I did was I actually pulled, because now typically what they'll do is they'll pull from the high. Let me see if I can go out to the daily, it'd be a little easier. Typically, whenever you blow through a negative 236, what you're going to look for is from the high to the new high. But sometimes what I've noticed that they will do is they will not take that one, even though it's blown through the target of the negative 236. What they'll do is they'll just pull another traditional measured move right off of the low there. So they'll come right to there, right? So you notice that they bought that nicely. And a big part of this is just trying to, it's kind of like a puzzle. You just need, you're going to kind of figure out what they're working from, as long as staying within the rules of what they look for. So now, what I notice is that, I believe it was that one. Let me see here. I just had it and now it's gone. So this one. Okay. Yeah. So now they start pulling an extension, right? So then from there, they pulled a traditional off your extension and it continues. And these get complicated because there's algorithms within algorithms. They function like little Russian dolls essentially, but that's why this one here is probably a smaller one, because technically, from my understanding, the way they're programmed is once they pull an extension, they'll continue to pull extensions, but sometimes you can get a traditional off of an extension, meaning that you pull from the low where they previously bought at the 50 to the new high, and then it starts working from there, which is kind of what we've done. So we definitely see, there's no denying, if we're pulling from here to the high, we come down to the 50, immediately start buying. We're already at our target of the negative 236. Okay, so they're pushing higher still. Interesting. We come down here, we can look at this. It's an Elliott wave oscillator. So basically, what it's doing is it's showing you the magnitude of a wave to help you identify which one's your third. So, for example, you can see the green here, very consistent. That's kind of popping out and telling you that, okay, that's a third wave most likely. Because if you come back here, you can see how it's not so much, right, as we're working on the one. Okay, so this is a very strong wave that's going through. So now what I'm looking at here, I think I was on the 4-hour chart before. Yeah. So it looks like we're on a third, in my opinion. It looks like we got some sort of a bump in here, but that's the thing, just looking at this, just from experience, this looks like a series of 1 2 1 2 1 2s, because it's very choppy. Waves are overlapping. So for example, I can't have a 1 2 and this be my third and this be a 4, because in Elliott wave theory, the fourth wave cannot overlap the first unless you're in a diagonal, which this doesn't look like a diagonal to me. So what comes to mind is a series of 1 2 1 2s, which would imply a much more bullish third wave. Because if you have a series of 1 2s, that implies that you're going to have a bunch of third waves that need to be filled. So, that could come in the form in just very extended third wave, and it's hidden because, let's say that this is just an example. This isn't what's actually happening, but, let's say that this is a third, right? You get a real shallow fourth, right? And that completes one of your 1 2 3 4, right? So then you coming up for another one, you get your third shallow 4, and so it can complete like that. So you get a very extended third wave. It's a possibility. just from experience. Um, Now, that said, it looks like we are on the third, obviously, just based on this, right? So what I'm thinking now, I can't really, again, this is difficult because it doesn't give me much to work with here as far as uh, digging in and seeing where the waves are. Well, actually, let's drop down. Let's go to a 1 hour. Yeah, I mean, still, there's just not much retracement for me to work with. Um, we could take a look here and see what the algorithms are doing. So looks like they bought there, ran up to target, so they'd be pulling the next one. Okay, so they bought there again. Looks like they ran to target, but it looks like they missed it. Wonder if they pulled to get overall again. Yeah, that looks like what they did. So they pulled that one, right? Came down to the 50. And then this just looks like a series of smaller measured moves here. So, just how I was talking about a minute ago, how you get the smaller ones within the bigger ones. So that's, to me, that's a big brother, little brother type setup. I would look for that. I would take that trade targeting up here for my swing. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, they're just, as far as the Elliott wave count, there's not a whole lot for me to go off of. I just, other than it looks like a series of 1-2s forming in here. I don't have a third in yet. There's not much retracement here. We're already well past any projections that I could be doing. I mean, we're well past the third wave target of the 618. So I mean, there's just not a lot to go off of, and short of me really digging in here and just trying to come up with some very complicated count. I mean, keeping things simple is often the best thing that you can do. Don't overcomplicate it, right? Um, if the count is just vastly too complicated, well, there's a good chance you have it wrong. So trade smarter, not harder. Don't try to trade things that are overly complex, right? Don't try to do things that are overly difficult. Look for the easy trades, the easy setups. Now, if you're looking at it from an algo perspective, okay, there's some trades in here, but as far as trying to look for setups and whatnot, I mean, it's just not clear where we are, right? It's just not clear yet. It just keeps continuing to rip. So that being said, we still, it's still moving towards that target. So I would be looking, since I'm thinking that we're on a third, I'd look for a fourth wave to set up somewhere in here. And then I can take a look and kind of, okay, now where are we? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we have a fourth wave. That gives me a little bit more of a clue as to where our fifth would be. And I can narrow down that fifth wave target a lot more accurately. All right, so I think that's going to wrap up the Tesla video. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.